The greatest danger to political corporate media triumvirate is that Musk is right. They rather blow up their whole system than to give people free speech. Well, before we get started, go ahead, hit that like button, share this out so we can get this important information out there. Also, subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. It has a link to my Patreon where I talk about things I can't talk about here. It also has a link to my merch store where I have Let's Go Brandon t-shirts, I Will Not Comply t-shirts, all types of t-shirts. Also has a link to my mental health coaching and consultation page, or if you're suffering from some type of mental health issues and you just need some help, um, you can set up a session with me there. I'll teach you coping skills and all type of things to help you get through with whatever issues you're going through. All right, let's talk about this news. Twitter's board of directors gathered this week to sign what sounds like a suicide pact. It unanimously voted to swallow a poison pill to tank the value of the social media giant's shares rather than allow billionaire Elon Musk to buy the company. The move is one way to fend off hostile takeovers, but what is different in this case is that the added source the added source of the hostility. Twitter and many liberals are apoplectic over Musk's call for free speech protections on the site. Company boards have a fiduciary duty to do what is best for shareholders, which usually is measured in share values. Twitter has long done the opposite. It has virtually written off many conservatives and a large portion of its prospective market with years of arbitrary censorship and dissenting views on everything from gender identity to global warming, election fraud, and the pandemic. Most recently, Twitter suspended a group libs of TikTok. I did a whole video on that for hateful conduct. The conduct reposting what liberals have said about themselves. That's all they doing. All they do is just literally posting the videos of them in their own words, and that's hateful misconduct. Bizarro world. The company seemingly has written off free speech too. Twitter CEO Parag Agrawal was asked how Twitter would balance its efforts to combat misinformation with wanting to protect free speech as a core value and to protect the First Amendment. He responded dismissively that the company is not to be bound by the First Amendment and will regulate content as reflective of things that we believe led to a healthier public conversation. I mean, it's just horrible. Agrawal said the company would focus less on thinking about free speech because speech is easy on the internet. Most people can speak. Where our role is particularly emphasized is who can be heard. I mean, this is Orwellian talk. I mean, he's basically saying we only gonna allow voices that we want to be heard. Is basically what he's saying. Not surprisingly, selling censorship is not a big hit with most consumers, particularly from a communications or social media company. The actions of Twitter's management have led to roller coaster and share values. While Twitter once reached a high of $73 a share, it is currently around 45. Musk was offering 54.20 a share, representing 54% premium over the share price the day before he invested in the company. Notably, Musk will not trigger the poison pill if he stays below 15% ownership of the company. He would push his present stake up to 14.9% and then negotiate with other shareholders to take greater control. Another problem is that Twitter long sought a private buyer under former CEO Jack Dorsey. If Musk increases his bid closer to 60, the board could face liability in putting its interests ahead of the company's shareholders. Putting aside the magical share number, Musk is right that the company's potential has been constrained by its woke management. For social media companies, free speech is not only ethical but economically beneficial because the censorship model only works if you have an effective monopoly in which customers have no other choice. That is how Henry Ford could sell customers back when he controlled car making, that they could have any color of Model T as long as it's black. Of course, the Model T's color was not a critical part of the product. On the other hand, Twitter is a communications company selling censorship and opposing free speech as a social media company is a little like Ford opposing cars. The public could be moving beyond Twitter's Model T philosophy, however, with many people looking for access to an open free forum for discussions. Censorship or content modification, as used in polite company, is not value maximizing for Twitter, but it is status enhancing for executives such as Agarwal. It does not matter that consumers of his product want less censorship. The company has become captive to its executives' agendas. Twitter is not alone in pursuing such self-defeating values. Many in the mainstream media and many of the left have become some of the loudest advocates for corporate censorship. The Washington Post's Max Boot, for example, declared, quote, "For democracy to survive, we need more content moderation, not less." And I did a whole video on that one. The MSNBC's Katie Tur warned that reintroducing free speech values on Twitter could produce, quote, "massive life and global altering consequences for just letting people run wild on the thing." I mean, this is how they think of you. This is how these people think of you. And then you got communists, I say communists, I meant columnists, Freudian slip, and former Clinton Labor Secretary Robert Wright went full Orwellian in explaining why freedom is tyranny. Wright dismissed calls for free speech and warned that censorship is, quote, "necessary to protect American democracy." I did a whole video on that one. He then delivered a line that would make Big Brother blush, quote, "That's Musk's dream and Trump's and Putin's and the dream of every dictator, strongman, demagogue, and modern-day robber baron on earth. For the rest of us, it would be a brave new nightmare." So how a free speech is a nightmare to them. Being able to express yourself and tell people how you feel as an individual is a nightmare to them. That lets you know how they feel about you. But the problem comes when you sell fear for too long and too high a price. Recently, Rep. Madeline Dean, a Democrat from Pennsylvania, agreed with MSNBC analyst John Holliman that Democrats have to, quote, "scare the crap out of voters and get them to come out." This is what they're saying to each other. That line is not selling any better for the media than it is for social media, however. Trust in the media is at a record low, with only 7% expressing great trust in what is being reported. I want to talk to the 7% that's actually trusting them. I really want to get into the minds of the 7% that actually believe the media. But the United States ranks last in media trust among 46 nations. Just as the public does not want social media companies to control their views, it does not want the media to shape its news. In one recent poll, 76.3% of respondents from all political affiliations said that, quote, "the primary focus of the mainstream media's coverage of current events is to advance their own opinions or political agendas." I love that people, that 76%, I wish it were more people that knew that this was what they were doing. Thus, an outbreak of free speech would have dire consequences for many in the political corporate media triumvirate. For them, the greatest danger is that Musk could be right and Twitter will become a more popular, more profitable company selling a free speech product. Poison pill maneuvers are often used to force a potential buyer to negotiate with the board. However, Twitter's directors, who include Agarwal and Dorsey, have previously limited their product to advance their own political preferences. This time, federal law may force them to fulfill their fiduciary duties, even at the cost of supporting free speech. The problem for the board will occur when the nightmare of free speech comes in at $60 a share. And I can't wait to see how this thing folds, how this turns out. But let me know what you think. Leave your comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe. And check out demarcopublics.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.